Hi guys, it's Shani with Healing Elements. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to a reading that is both timeless and also for the Scorpio season, roughly from about October the 24th to about November 22nd. And just wishing you lots of love and light. Hey, this will be timeless reading, but energies and the cards that come up can be regarding this time period right here, which is, and it's Scorpio season. Welcome to Scorpio season. Let me set it up. I'll set up the camera down here so you can just see. Let's put you guys down here. I got this new deck. It is the Numinous Astro deck. It talks about the different astrological signs and placements and things like that. So we'll draw some of these in a minute to go maybe with the wheel. See? And these are brand new, so I've definitely blessed them, cleansed them, worked with them, not in any reading though. And so the areas of our life or energies that we're working with interpersonally, regarding the themes or maybe people that are associated with these signs, what signs or aspects will come out regarding the zodiac. Perhaps that because Scorpio energy, we're just entering Scorpio season, and is all about transformation and metamorphosis, right? Welcome to the new me. Welcome to the new and totally improved, underbelly, the skin, the new skin that is underneath what we have shed and was dry and was really holding us back and felt nasty and crummy, right? That's what's good about transformations. It might hurt, who knows? It might hurt, like we don't know. Does it hurt when a certain species molts, or does it hurt when the antler has all this dead junk on their antlers and needs to scrape it off? Does it hurt when the snake is shedding its skin and is peeling off? We don't know. We're never going to know. Does it hurt when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon and undergoes a major, complete metamorphosis in the cocoon, in the chrysalis, and is therefore really transmuted? It's almost like alchemy. What we go through is I think, as souls, and also as souls living a human experience, I think that we alchemize as we surrender. So the caterpillar surrenders and knows that they have to go in the chrysalis, not knowing exactly what, this one won't stick, not knowing what is going to be behind or with the transformation, not having any idea that there is going to be such a profound transformation as alchemizing their body, pretty much getting into the state of plasma, of goo, after they go in as a caterpillar, and it goes into a state of plasma kind of things, reformulates, the cells get together, and it goes into this beautiful creature that is totally different looking and totally, able to do different polar opposite things, move fast and quick as lightning and fly as a butterfly, right? This is Taurus. Interesting. So the bombshell, it says, earthy, practical, steadfast, productive, fertile, tactile, ample, worthy, ripe, pleasure-seeking, sensuous, blooming, solid, possessive, tenacious, loyal, patient, and deliberate. And this is a beautiful point to bring up. There is somebody on here that in the zodiac, there's a principle where there's really only truly 6 signs of the zodiac, right? Because the duality, right? There's 6 signs, but there is the opposites in the zodiac. Like this is Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. So we're in Scorpio season. This is the opposite energy across the zodiac wheel. And it represents, a lot of things that are polar opposite of Scorpio, but polar opposites always have that similar, duality means this connection between things that are opposite, but some are the same if you just look at the perspective. The principle is different. I find that with my mom, that's true. I'm a Pisces and she's Virgo, and I think that that rings true a lot. We have things that we just completely do not see eye to eye, or we're just opposite opinions about, and then there's some things that are like same. So Taurus, and this is also coming up. Maybe that means something to you. If you notice, of course, that would be the next time I think that we have, pretty sure that we have a major eclipse. So very interesting eclipse season. They always say 6 months of a certain theme, but some of them which are heavy, most of which have certain themes within your personal chart and personal life path that will be much longer than that, have to do with themes, sometimes even 11-year cycles. So, okay, we'll do 3. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay. So if you do have your birth chart or know what you have in your 7th house, it's all about relating to people. It's like the Libra energy. It says partners, companionship, right? And that has a lot to do with, I believe, this is Libra, the 7th house, but Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so is Libra. And so it often has to do with a deep passion and aesthetic loving, energy of relationships and relating to people, and being able to connect is important to both the Taurus and Libra energy. And the 7th house is representative of that importance, about best friends and bonds, sacred unions that come into your life path, I think, through many lifetimes. Like, time is not relevant. I just spoke on that today, but it is but a concept. And I believe that, everything is kind of indicative of a multiverse situation where, everything, there is no past or future. Everything is happening in the now, and that's hard to conceptualize. It's hard to wrap your head around. But I believe that this Libra scale energy, this 7th house energy about relating, and this duality of natures that I was talking about, the Taurus and Scorpio being opposite in the zodiac, exuding opposites, but that beauty of the togetherness of actually seeing the truth that it is the same, right, in the same respect, in different ways, different virtues or different principles or traits, right, that kind of thing. So it's representative of marriage. So maybe you're just like a lot of us right now. This Scorpio, very big event that has to do with where the other planets are placed and everything else we have going on in the sky. But the Scorpio energy is rough. It's the truth, right? It's the secrets revealed. It's like, let's be raw and cut down and kill, basically kill anything that is no longer serving us in order to reap the benefits in the future, even if it hurts. Like, this lady just started talking to me about a story about in the Bible. She started talking to me randomly when I was getting copies, and she was talking about that kind of principle on how, and I was like really getting the chills and just loved what she had to say, talking about the things that we look back on in hindsight that were disasters and led us to learn a big lesson, and it turned out to be a blessing, right? So a lot of this deep energy about ripping the Band-Aid off, getting rid of anything, especially this is about, relationships too, passionate, things that are long enduring. Like, that's an energy that is long enduring. And I believe that when the 7th house shows us the, relating to this whole energy regarding the Scorpio season 2022, right before it gets really weird, and already is weird in the astrological energetic, swing of things, I think that this is talking about transforming, whatever that means, whether it means transforming where you are at within, your thinking and, future thinking about your relationship, whether that means just changing your perspective of, oh my God, I just realized nothing's going to change. It's not going to work. Or, you know what, wait a second, I was holding on to much to some certain concept that was crazy, and I'm going to move on and just be, surrender to let me give things a chance. Or if that means that amicably, it just needs to transform into what was is not the same anymore, and the future needs to be without that, energetic combination, right? This also could be relating to, anyone that you grew up with. If you had any kind of abusive type of situations with a parent or a caregiver, or you felt that you were devalued or experienced some sort of emotional or narcissistic abuse, being not heard or gaslit, like where you would say your feelings and someone would tell you, no, actually, that is actually incorrect. You can't be sick because you probably have allergies, that kind of thing. You can be thinking about, in relation to yourself, how you've transformed upon learning about the truth, about that, that wasn't right, and that you don't have to be resentful or vengeful, but that when we talk about relationships, it's so important, and it causes so much built up, emotion, that it can be carried as emotional baggage that's negative, or it can be transmuted into good things. However, it's still there, and it's causing pain at some point when people are treating you in a toxic way, relating to you. So I think there's a lot of these themes coming up, and people are showing you right now this energy, I think, is something that the universe is showing us we can't get out of. We need to pinpoint the importance and find out what that means to our soul path coming, across these situations. And if we're still involved in things that are not serving us at all, because they're serving us negative energy and holding us back from any kind of peace, not even just happiness, that's important, but any kind of peace, if it's robbing you from anything that you would otherwise be doing that would not be going down some rabbit hole and answering some parent that, or partner or person that you work with, answering them why you're a certain way you are and feeling devalued or dismissed or just not in alignment, right? Not all your chakras aligned and all your heart center and your being able to be yourself or happy with yourself, right? So, okay, it also mentions opposition, right? Interesting. The Scorpio and Taurus cards, this is very interesting. The opposition, and it says equilibrium, sharing, communion, justice, balance, and social awareness. And there's a lot going on, as we know, with social awareness right now. As I film this, it's going on different parts of the world, but Iran is trying to advocate for equality for, what I believe is something ludicrous, that they mandate that you wear and cover your face. And so someone didn't, and she ended up in police custody and got killed. So it's just they're, revolting in that way. And that's about what they feel is their social awareness has been, it's been peaked up. It's been brought to the forefront because of this incident, like us in George Floyd's case, how that we already knew it was happening, but something sparks within you and you really want to, it's like a social justice advocate, right? That's the energy with 7th house, and that's coming really strong, I think, anyway, with Saturn in Aquarius. And this whole, unity of people who are beginning to understand that being aware is one thing, but being activated in order to, potentially not aggressively, but in order to help wake other people up or just explain, like, look, you guys, there's something hokey. This is crazy. Whatever it is that you believe, not politically, but mainstream kind of control programming type of thinking, right? Like that type of, there's something behind closed doors that is, being very sneaky, right? More so than that. Like, it's like the whole Area 51 and just that shady business and, oh, never mind. They come out with, oh, never mind, it was there all along and you guys were right, we were hiding something. So it's just that type of thing about finding out what you're aware of, what other people are aware of, not overreacting, but understanding that, relating and understanding the opposite point of view too, I think is so important, because then that to me is where beauty lies, is within the middle. Can you meet me in the middle, right? I think that I've always been on the fence with, I love, CBT, like cognitive behavioral therapy, and DBT. I love that concept. However, I do think that there's, you don't need to be all the way over into logical side of the brain, and you don't have to be all the way over into just emotional, impulsive. I think that there is right in the middle. You can stay, but you can, I believe you can swing based on your personality traits one way or the other, a little bit of a deviation. I don't think that it's constantly imperative to check in with yourself and say, am I being one way or the other? It just makes a little bit more of a problem. Okay, so this is interesting because when we did the wheel, when we spun the wheel, it literally went into Gemini and then it just kind of pushed itself into Cancer. So let's see. Cancer is the doula. I love this image on here. It's really, really, really beautiful. Cancer is, like I was saying, the goddess of the moon, the nurturer, the one who bringeth life, right? The doula, the one who is able to nurture somebody and make them feel comforted when they're in a position of vulnerability in general, right? Or in a position where people are attacking. I think that advocacy is made really strongly from the water signs, and I think Cancer is number one who really comes to bat, if not in a public forum, completely loyal, in which people know because they will take that person under their wing, go to their Cancer crib, house or sanctuary, and be very, very loyal and loving, and make that person feel as if they are not judged. Okay, so it says feeling for sure. Sympathy, sympathetic, comforting, very comforting. There's nothing like it in the zodiac than feeling accepted and comforted. Shout out to my Aunt Diane. She's Cancer. May she rest in peace. Nostalgic. That's something that I love doing with water signs, is because it's fun for water signs to not to go back in nostalgia and wallow in this kind of self-pity and oh, wish it was like that again. No, it's fun, like almost like a dream or a fantasy, or to just go back and relive. And a lot of people think that that's either obsessive or self-wallowing and shoulda, woulda. No, it's great with a Cancer brother and or sister. It's just fun to go back and say, do you remember the days when, right? It's really fun. So nostalgia, very protective, absolutely. Very protective, I would say. A lot of that goes unsaid in astrological community. I think astrologers say a lot of, loyalty and protective traits about Leo, which is true. But I think the Cancer is so protective, and that's what I mean about grabbing you if they feel that you are in danger or you are getting insulted upon, and taking them with you, like into their clutches. I love it. Okay, so intuitive, absolutely. Birthing, yes, they give anew, like the moon, the full moon, it invokes a signal, right, to many species, and they come out and they are signal to give birth. Tender, nocturnal, caring, moody, very receptive, lunar, sentimental. So the moon obviously rules the Cancer. That is their planetary body of rule, and so they are very influenced. So influenced when the moon is in a different sign, switches signs, or perhaps today. Shout out to all you Cancers. I'm a Pisces. I know how that is. Rising Pisces too. So they can be affected when big things go down like this, like a solar eclipse in another water sign for sure. Sentimental, introverted, defensive, yes. Family oriented, yes. Very family oriented. They represent, again, family, mother, nurturing, togetherness, loyalty, comfort of the people that we adore and understand the most, right? That's that energy. Okay, and Uranus actually is different. It's understanding, and the energy invoked is understanding everybody as a whole, or like a total sum of the many parts. Uranus symbolizes the unorthodox understanding that we need to, honor the people who we grew up with and love and care for pretty much the most, but just as the same as some stranger walking down the street, almost like that song, If God Was One of Us. It reminds me of Uranus, or Aquarian energy. Uranus rules Aquarius, a sign. So it says breakthroughs, right? And there's there's insects that look like they have jetpacks and rockets, and they're flying around. It's like very, very what Aquarians represent, futuristic type of technological advances and different things that are just seemingly off the wall, like maybe those steampunk, or people who want to get brain chipped up, like for different reasons, or have like little machine things or parts coming out of their skin. It's just very, abstract, but in a useful type of potentially breakthrough event or breakthrough invention type of way. And so it says breakthroughs, brainstorming, yes, originality, it's very original, insight, awakening, technology, innovation, humanitarianism, that's a big one. So we have the seventh house, which talks about social activism or social awareness and justice upon that. And then we get this card also, which is really talking about something's gonna spoil. I think something is gonna spill over, and I never speak on what I feel in the global community or politically, but I think that people, one way or the other, whatever side you're on, whether it be politics or coronavirus type of restrictions, or things of that nature, or maybe what we're doing in the world as far as war, I think that pretty soon people are just going to, look at January 6th, people are going to get fed up, right? Just like the Civil War, where one group, they were just waiting for the other one to get the ammunition or to attack the other. I think that it's past the point of return. I'm not going to try to wish that on anything, but I'm telling you, I really feel like this awareness of social justice that we all feel, and some of us in different ways are not compromising, and we are, really looking at the fact that this humanitarianism comes from a place that we need reform, and that's what also it represents. It says reform, right? Surprise reform too. Uranus is like, surprise, I have a problem, and here it is, like today, like the earthquake was like, surprise, here we go. It talks about experimentation and seeing what new paradigm or what new pathway may work for what hasn't worked in the past. And it's like, surprise, here, let's do this, cut and dry. Uranus, it's on a very it's on a skewed orbit. It tilts. It's the only one that kind of rotates in a different way, sideways, right? Freedom, experimentation, the unexpected, rupture. That's what I want to really leave you with, that word, rupture. I was thinking of a volcano. That was my metaphor for coming on. And it was like eruption, rupture, like something is so full, like I told you about the whole, something's got to give, where it's the social activism thing. Everyone feels so strongly and is not in my opinion, willing to do anything to meet in the middle or negotiate anymore. I feel that a lot of people in their position feel that there is no negotiating out of what they feel is the right truth or right way to be in the society. So I think that, people are very capable, as you know, in society of erupting and rupturing something with a quickness, unexpected. Unfortunately, like the JFK assassination, I've been kind of wondering, hey, is that going to be our truth? Just because a lot of the astrology is kind of similar to that time period. And also just because a lot of people are really on one side or the other, and as they were, I think, in that time period, regarding all kind of things, but mainly human rights, like civil rights, and that came up, humanitarianism, civil rights, things like of that nature represent Uranus. It's a revolution. That's the main key word, revolution. Okay, so it says rupture, edge, diversity, and lightning. So it comes lightning quick. It comes with totally different, polar opposite agenda, or type of hypothesis or path that people want to, or energy that's brewing up is kind of like, look, this is going to be totally different than what we've done before because it didn't work before. And so we got the main themes it's a perfect time to end it. Music stopped. The main themes we got are the bombshell, like Taurus is all about, passion, appearance. We thought something was so hot and heavy. We thought it was very much serving for us, but you know what? Let's take a look at it and see how it relates to where we're at now. Does it nurture us? The Cancer energy, the doula, right? Relating to how we need to transform the Scorpio energy right now. The new moon, the eclipse, solar eclipse in Scorpio, total eclipse of the heart. We have to black out our heart like Scorpios often do in order to assess what we felt in the past with different relationships, with money, with people, with environments. Did that make us feel like a bombshell? Did that make us feel like we were worthy, that we were sensuous, that we were blooming, pleasure-seeking, right on this card, that we were ripe, that we had a loyal thing on our hands, right? That we had a deliberate ability from that other person to come to us and want to see us, right? For who we are, not for who they want to put in their mind as a narrative, right? Especially those of you who have dealt with like childhood kind of emotional, or in a relationship in your older life that is emotionally abusive and not nurturing, for whatever that is. It's sometimes we don't need to blame somebody. We need to fix whatever the factor is, get rid of the factor, solve the problem. The equation of the factor has to be solved so that you can feel a certain way. And if that means removing something, the X factor, that's what we need to do. Remove the X, right? And it becomes an X. Cancer, the doula, is all about being sympathetic. Take this time to feel sympathy for your own heart. Don't think that this is a time to feel that talking about your vulnerabilities, about how hard it's been for you lately, is going to make you look weak. No, this has been the past. I don't have to tell anybody that the past few years has been the most, draining, exhausting, sometimes filled for a lot of us with grief of losing people to death, the COVID restrictions, to losing things that we loved, our homes, or whatever the case may have been, right? So it's okay, I think, right now to give yourself what that card represents, the Cancer card, and it came up on our wheel, the doula, talking about nurturing and comfort yourself. Think about nostalgia of the good times, about the bad times. What's that one song? I drink the vodka drink. No, don't drink vodka and whiskey. Just kidding. Do what you may. That's just a silly song. As I shuffle this one, and we'll end the reading, but definitely be tender to yourself. I think that's a big message that I want to send to you guys. And once I started doing that and gave myself the room to take off working, so hard, like to get packages out or whatever I was doing in my work, in my environment, everything else, like giving yourself that leeway to be tender and nurturing and observant, talking about, what you need to do to feel cared for, loved, and well and healthy, right? The doula, it wants a healthy birth. She wants to birth something that's healthy, not that is going to be, sickly and suffering. And so I think that we'll go ahead and shuffle this way. Fertility, look at, that's what also the Cancer, the doula is ripe and ready to give birth. And there we go. We'll end the reading out with a perfect card. Guys, whoops. This is, by the way, these are beautiful cards. They're the, I'll show it. It's the Sacred Geometry Activation cards. It's beautiful. I love them. And this talks about frequencies, and this frequency is number 1, right? The root chakra. It's like, yep, let's start from ground up, guys. Transformation means sometimes the tower is representative of Scorpio energy, breaking shit all the way down in order to build another foundation. And when we start from our roots, right, we recognize what is super important and what we build upon. And if this is damaged or if we're having some lack in this area, it can affect so much. So the frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security. If we don't feel safe and secure, it crumbles along every avenue and river that we have within our life path, honestly. I found that time and time again with myself and with clients. It is usually the stem of a problem that has manifested into severe pain is a sense of insecurity, whether that's within themselves or feeling that they are not secure in someone else's life, or feeling insecure, just not secure in their position because of maybe someone had died and they were used to this set of living before. I mean, you name it, insecurity can be, feeling secure and safe can mean a lot of things. Childhood wounds, of course, feeling unsafe. We all feel unsafe if we were impinged upon and abused as a child in any manner, right? So it says, the red flower of life stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well in the physical world. All right, guys, this one is on top. And we will just go ahead and leave it off one more. Number 19, number 1 and number 19. And that's funny because break it down 1 and then 9 plus 1 is 10. That's 11 if you break it down. So the frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. So try changing up the script. Try this, attitude shift. I call it if someone is being nasty and you're usually used to reacting a certain way, and, try to, in that moment, think mindfully, let me change it up. Let me show delight, actually. Even if that person's acting nasty, let me show my true delight, because that's what we are all inside, really, truly delightful. And Capricorn energy, boom. Leave off on my moon sign, my mother and father's moon sign, and my husband's moon sign. Serious, authoritative, ambitious, realistic, structured, traditional, wise, enduring, accomplished, badass. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Majestic, competent, prepared, down to earth, corporate, reserved, rigid, and disciplined. All right, guys. Well, nothing but love for you guys, love and light. I literally, you think Mercury was still in retrograde? No. So you will be hearing from me. I'm going to do a Shani Testifies video really, really shortly, I promise. But for now, the timeless reading, but it is the new moon in Scorpio, the solar eclipse in Scorpio. 2022. So the energy is done today with these 2 decks, which are beautiful. I love it. The Numination deck and the Sacred Geometry, right? The Frequency deck. I just love it. Those 2 decks for the energy is of ever-flowing, tidbits of useful, I feel like packets of useful information. So I think that if you came here at any time, I always think everything's timeless that you come upon, whether it's a reading or just going somewhere and observing something. It's always meant to bring out something. That's the way that I feel. Nothing is mundane in my life, and nothing is mundane in yours. I think that everything is, even the smallest of bits, a little part of the sum total of all, right? Blessings, love, and light, guys.